On this podcast, from Tight Fit with his loincloth, it's Steve Grant.
Right, on the show today on the Sands Showbiz Podcast, lucky enough to be speaking to Steve Grant. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Nigel. Good to be with you again. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, absolute pleasure. Been very, very busy 2024 so far for you, Steve, and Tight Fit.
Yeah. We've got our new single out right now called Own the Universe. This is the last single before the album comes out. So we've literally just finished the album, and there's one track to finish production on. And so it's almost ready to go.
Yeah.
And this single is very different to things that we've done in the past. We've got a really kind of funky mix on this track, and there's a few other mixes as well.
Yeah.
And the mix that we're promoting is by a guy called Larry Peace, who used to be a DJ for Prince. He toured everywhere with Prince.
Excellent.
On stage, and was the DJ at all his live shows.
Wow.
So we're incredibly lucky to get him to produce this track for us.
Brilliant. It's got a very contemporary style, hasn't it? It's very up to date, this latest song. The production sounds another notch up.
Yeah, it really is. It's got a really funky bass line, and there's a great extended mix as well, club mix, and the reactions back from the clubs are like amazing. We've been getting really good reaction sheets coming back in. So yeah, this one's doing really well, and we're in the Heritage Chart again with this one. So fingers crossed. You never know, but you never know when something comes out how people are going to react to it.
No.
But yeah, the reaction's been really, really nice. So we're thrilled.
And you mentioned the album coming out as well in a couple of months. Is that going to be coming out?
Yeah, still have the date yet, because we've got to do we've just got to do a photo shoot and getting all three of us together for that.
Yeah.
And then like I say, just this production on this one last track. So everything's done in terms of our work, and it's 12 all brand new stuff. There's no cover versions on the album at all, which is the first time we've ever done that.
It takes some time to get it all together as well, like, because you mentioned all these different people involved with it.
Yeah, it's been a long time, because we're only with a little small label, and they kind of rotate the artists. So they'll do something with us, and then they'll work with Nikki French, and then Rosala and Peter Wilson. So they kind of rotate, and we have taken quite a long time to get this album finished. I love being in the studio. That's great fun, and we always have a laugh. We're like, we've known each other for so long. We're like family, and when we get in the studio, it's a bit of a comedy moment now and then.
Yeah,
but it feels like it's just going back to when we were kids, kind of thing, just going and having fun, having a laugh, doing our bit, and enjoying it. And just, at this stage and age of our lives and careers, we would never have expected this to happen. So it's been a real treat, and I've loved it. I've loved every minute of working with Energize. They've been fantastic. So it's a real mixture of things, but we've been able to delve into areas that perhaps we probably wouldn't have done 40 years ago.
Yeah, so everything's changed. I was thinking about that today. I mean, the music business has changed massively, isn't it? In the last 20 years of when the internet came about, it changed everything, didn't it?
Changed everything, because the producers are now, we used to go in the studio with the producer. Now the producer's in another country.
Yeah.
So they just digitally send off vocals, and then the track comes back. So yeah, it's completely different. Everything was on tape years ago, and they have 24 tracks and bounce them over. So you had 48 tracks, and now you can have as many tracks as you want. And so everything is different to how it used to be. And then the way that you send things out is so different now as well. We can send tracks all over the world to DJs. I'm getting reaction sheets back from Tokyo and from from Australia, from the States. It's quite amazing how some parts of it are a lot easier than it used to be, and some parts are very different and difficult as well, because it's you're competing in a market that's very, very very busy, and there's a lot of tracks out there. So we're not teenagers anymore. We're not expecting to be doing major business. We're not going to be on the top of the charts, but we're putting out good, substantial, good pop music, and which is what we really, really want to do at this this time.
You move forward obviously with the times and that, but when you go back to the 80s, have you ever kept any of the memorabilia from those days?
I do, yeah. I do have a little bit. I've got some stuff from like the fan club, and we had little badges, that send out to fans and things, and I've got some letters and cards that people use. It's all in the bag in the loft. But I've kept a lot of things that I thought at the time were very sweet things that people had sent us. So I've still got some of those things.
Is that the
And
loincloth as well? Did you keep that? Is that
the
framed?
loincloth is in a home for the for the retired loincloth.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
no, that's, I think probably somebody's cleaning their car with it as we speak. It's not,
Oh,
thankfully.
yeah. They're great days though, aren't they? They really are great days. Do you have a gold disc anywhere on your wall or anything like that?
I've got our disc. My discs are all in the bathroom. Yeah, they're up on the wall in the bathroom.
Brilliant.
So yeah, they're and I think Denise is the same. She's got hers up on and Julie as well. I think we've all got discs up in the bathroom.
Go back to the new single, and I noticed it's got AI artwork on the front. Who came up with that?
So we wanted to get really based around the song, the words and the song. We wanted to have something that was a bit kind of superheroes, because it's about it talks about flying and dancing and doing all these crazy things, and we wanted to be superheroes, but we didn't want to do that ourselves. So we had our IT department, my partner, create some AI pictures, and then we loved the pictures so much because they made us look very different, very young, and quite buff. So then we got a friend of ours. We sent off the pictures. We had quite a selection of AI pictures, and then this person created a video for us as well, an AI video. And we've done videos for some of the new stuff in the past, but we just thought it would be interesting just to see how it was with an AI video. It's in its early stages right now in terms of what you can do with it and how it works. But we've done something that I think would is a little bit different, and we are dressed as like superheroes in this video, and we move around and dance a little bit, but it's really about the song and trying to encapsulate what's in the song. So I really like this video. It's quite a fun thing to do, but obviously it bears no resemblance to us whatsoever because it's AI.
Have you changed the actual look of the band when you're on stage?
A little bit, yeah, just because we're a little bit older. You have to do, I'm not going to be out there in my loincloth, although depending on the gig, very often, and I have no say in this at all, the girls will remove me of my vest or whatever I'm wearing at some point. It's depending on the crowd and depending on how the gig is going. if they think that it's not going well, they might want to pull my shirt off. Then I'm fine with that. It doesn't matter. I'm not bothered. I
Yeah.
think we've reached that age now where we really don't care. Life's too short.
Yeah, totally. I
Um,
agree.
I'm still all these years later having my clothes torn off by two lovely ladies either side of me on the odd occasion.
Do you think now, but I mean, we touched on it a little bit before, but do you think the business is a tougher business to get into now, the music business nowadays, because there's so many options than it was in the 80s?
I think there are different ways. I think the thing is, things like TikTok are so important now for music.
Yeah,
You people are signed up to major record companies based on how many followers and views they get on TikTok.
wow.
So that's unbelievable. So you can reach an audience without even having a label.
Yeah,
So things have changed massively from how things were, 40 years ago, when pre-internet, even 30 to 20 years ago.
yeah,
It's so different now to how it used to be.
yeah. Does it become a part where you need somebody who's actually running all the promotion side on the internet, like nearly a full-time occupation for you?
Um, you know what? We do a little bit of it ourselves just
Yeah,
because you build up contact with people. So not particularly Julie, because she doesn't do any social media at all.
right.
And she absolutely hates it.
Yeah,
But Denise and I try and do as much as we can, but then there's somebody else as well from the label that does um, the promotion work for us for all local radio stations. So if we get and some local BBC local radio stations have been really good to us as well, but it's mainly independent radio stations, and so we have someone that works and collaborates with those for us, and that's a big help. But
yeah,
it's about doing everything that you can yourself as well, just marketing to people that you know. I always send the track when, as soon as we've got a single out, I send it off to people. And the other person that's been really, really helpful is Mike Reed.
yeah,
He's been so supportive on his radio station,
yeah,
and every single that we've had out. I mean, we've had 3 Heritage Chart #1s, and we're currently 13 with this one.
wow.
And that's the voters, the
Yeah,
people that listening to the radio station, voting online for each song that they like. So that's been a really big support for us. That's
yeah,
been so good, and he's been lovely. And we've been down to film with him because he has a TV show version of it as well. And so we've been down a couple of times to film for that.
so do you think with everything that's changed then, I mean, there's no place for a TV program like Top of the Pops anymore? Do you agree with
It's
that?
such a shame. It's such a shame because there isn't really a show like that anymore
No,
that
there isn't.
for music, and that was the big
Oh,
go-to show that everybody watched.
yeah,
And yeah, it was an amazing thing to be part of that. Julie was on that even before we were a group, because she was one of the dancers on Top of the Pops
yeah,
in a group called Zoo. And I can remember the first time that we did it. Oh, I was so nervous. Oh my God, I was incredibly nervous. And I think there were me, because you're surrounded by other big names, and I grew up watching that show. It was such
yeah,
a iconic show, and then to be a part of it was just amazing. Looking back on it now, I can remember being very, very nervous at the time, particularly having to wear that blooming loincloth, because I hated that. I absolutely hated it. Didn't want to wear it at all. But the record company were like, no, you got to wear it. So I gave in, because they thought, because we'd been #1 for 2 weeks by that point,
yeah,
and they thought it was no, sorry, I think it was the 3rd week we were #1, and they thought it was going to give us another week. So anyway, I really didn't want to wear it. They persuaded me to wear it, And then the week after that, the record dropped. So it had no effect on sales whatsoever. But I'm kind of glad I did now, because everyone, even though I hated it at the time, everyone remembers it. So I mean, I can remember being standing next to Bananarama, and then being in the lift with Mark Almond, and we were on Top of the Pops with ABC and Spandau Ballet. It was amazing to be around all those other groups that were on. That was quite incredible.
Yeah, incredible days. Anyway, it's been super talking to you, Steve. I wish you all the best with the new single and the new album when it comes out. And I'll keep in touch and maybe speak to you next year and find out how many gigs you've been doing off the back of the album.
Okay, that's great, Nigel, and we really appreciate your support. That's very kind. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you as well. Thank you for your time. Okay.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us and sharing in the untold stories of the stars. In the world of showbiz, there's always another story waiting to be told. See you next time.
Sands Showbiz Podcast. It's your